A quiet corner of a factory campus in Wallamgen, Germany. A small building rises, not gently, not predictably, but like tension made visible. Sharp concrete planks cut through spaces, walls tilt, lines fracture. The structure feels as it is in motion. This is the Vitra Fire Station, the first completed building by Zaha Hadid. For over 2 decades, her work had existed only as drawings, paintings of impossible geometries, visions that seemed to defy construction itself. But now, for the first time, her ideas stood in concrete and steel. Critics who once dismissed her as theoretical were confronted with something undeniable. This was not imagination, this was reality, and architecture would not look the same again. The Vitra fire station was never meant to be monumental, it was functional, a response to a devastating fire on campus. But Zaha Hadid did not design it as a building, she designed it as an event. She described it as movement frozen. The walls are not neutral boundaries, they direct, they compress, and they release space. Corridors stretch like tension lines, plans collide like geological forces. From one angle, it feels controlled, from another, it feels like it could break apart at any moment. This was architecture as energy. For the first time, engineers and contractors had to engage with her geometry, not reject it. And they found a way. In just over 800 square meters, the building was small, but its impact was not. It marked the end of an era. Zaha Hadid was no longer the paper architect. She was buildable and she was real. Through the late 1990s and early 2000s, a quiet revolution was taking place. Architecture was becoming computational. Digital modeling tools began to simulate complex geometries with precision. Parametric systems allowed forms to be controlled, adjusted, and engineered in ways that were previously impossible. For many architects, this was a shift, but for Zaha Hadid, it was a release. She did not simplify her vision. The tools evolved to meet it. Her studio expanded, and with collaborators like Patrick Schumacher, her ideas became increasingly buildable. What once appeared chaotic revealed itself to be highly controlled, mathematical, precise, and intentional. Her work began to form a new language of architecture, continuous, fluid, and dynamic. A language rooted in her early fascinating with geometry and shaped by decades of persistence. What had once been friction became momentum. Then came the projects that would define an era, the Maxi National Museum of 21st century. Not a static museum, but a sequence of flowing spaces where walls bend and paths intersect like currents. The Guangzhou Opera House, 2 sculpted volumes shaped by erosion, as if formed by water over time. The Heydar Aliyev Center, a continuous surface rising from the ground. No corners, no interruptions, only movement. The London Aquatics Centre, a roof suspended like a wave, capturing the motion of water in structure. Across continents, cities began to commission her work, not despite its boldness, but because of it. Her architecture did not follow context, it redefined it. These buildings were not objects, they were experiences, spaces that shifted as you moved through them, structures that felt alive. Architecture no longer static, but in motion. In 2004, she was awarded the Pritzker Architecture Prize, the highest recognition in architecture, the first woman to receive it independently. It marked a turning point, not just in her career, but in the discipline itself. But global recognition brought complexity. Her projects grew in scale, her clients became more international, her work intersected with political, economic, and cultural systems far beyond design. Questions emerged about cost, about context, about the realities behind large-scale construction.
I don't like the word compromise to start with.
Zaha Hadid did not step back from these challenges. She remained direct, defensive of her work, unwilling to dilute her vision. Because for her, architecture was not compromise, it was conviction. In 2016, Zaha Hadid passed away unexpectedly. She was 65. Her death marked the end of a singular voice in architecture, but not the end of her influence. Her firm continued. Projects already in motion moved forward. New generations carried her ideas further. What was once radical had become reference. For decades, her work was considered impossible. Today, it defined skylines across the world. Zaha Hadid did not adjust her imagination to fit the limits of her time. She extended those limits. She challenged the way architecture could be drawn, understood, and built. Her buildings are not just forms. They are arguments that space can move, that structure can flow, that geometry can be expressive. Architecture is often described as something permanent, but in her work, it feels alive. Some architects respond to their time. Zaha Hadid forced time to respond to her.